I'ma need safety. Tell her op can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going, I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical. I'm out in Central America. I need a break from hysteria. Park like the one with the carousel. I get it lit in your area.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to I'm sorry that it's been a while since my last video. Yo, I can do whatever I want in my free. To be honest, though, I missed making videos and I was just really busy with school. But we won't put it in the video because I sound like a baby. Anyways, I got some stuff to show you today that I've been putting in. Roll the clip.
There till we in the ground. Jet black when I paint the town. Only blue sheets when they pay me now. Treat it setback like a step back. Wave.
I'm starting out with power steering because it's a pretty obvious thing that you need for a car. Fun fact is this Mustang originally had power steering. I just never got to experience it because you know what? It's never ran. I did want to keep having power steering in this car, but I didn't want to use the old rack and put my life on the line by driving with it. So I did some looking around and I quickly found that Borgeson makes some pretty good priced power steering stuff. I went for a power steering conversion kit from Manual Steering because they don't sell any other kind of steering kits for the Mustang. And I mean, all I had to do was buy a manual center link, so other than that, I was good to go. I got all this stuff and I started off first by putting in the main power steering box into the car. And then I took my old steering links and I set it on the ground. And I set up my new links to fit the same lengths. Then after that, I attached them to the spindles. To install the manual steering link to the power steering box. So this steering shaft right here will spin about 3 3/4 times. So that means to center it, I have to spin it back 1 3/8. And I should be able to easily find it with this shaft. The next thing that I did was tear apart my original steering column because I wanted to use this one. So I started by tearing it apart and cleaning up everything individually. I test fitted it in the car to see how much I wanted to cut off, just the outer part of the column. The first time I cut too much off, so I had to re-weld it back on. And then I put it back in again to test fit it. And I think it came out to only about me cutting about 1 inch off, I guess. My steering column had a bunch of rust on it before, so I had to clean that up and fix the pitting with some Bondo. I sanded it down to perfection and then I primed it and painted it. Now that the columns are ready to go, I just put it back together and then I throw it into the car. The last thing that's left for the power steering is to plumb everything up, but I can't do that yet because the engine's not in and I can't put the power steering pump on the engine yet. So I'm going to do that in a later video.
Long strides, long strides, long strides. Every day's your time, you climb.
Well, I might be picky or money might just be burning a hole in my pocket, but I wanted to convert to hydraulic clutch. The main advantage to hydraulic clutch is that it's smoother and it can even be lighter. You'll know what I'm talking about if you have ever driven a car with a adjustable clutch before, like the Mustang right here. It's a leg workout for sure if you don't drive it very often. But then my Celica has got a hydraulic clutch, also our truck. They're kind of amazing, to be honest. They do make hydraulic conversion kits, but one, I am not using a T5 transmission, which most of those kits go to, and two, they are very expensive. So I was just gonna do it on myself and see how it went. Started off by looking around online and I found a pretty cheap master cylinder on Summit Racing for around 30 bucks. It's pretty cheap. It's meant for clutches, so I mean it'll get the job done, and you can mount a remote reservoir, which is nice because it's a very tight space back there with the brakes and everything. I had to buy a clutch pedal for the Mustang because my car was an automatic before. On the clutch pedal there's a hole that you can mount the links to, but since I'm going to be converting this to hydraulic, I'm going to make custom links to my own master cylinder. I looked for a good place inside the engine bay to mount it so that it would sit right behind the hole on the pedal, and I ended up finding this triangular spot on the firewall. Unfortunately, this spot did not have the right angle to fully use the clutch pedal. I fixed this by cutting the two bottom sides of the triangle and then pushing the firewall out to raise up the master cylinder a little bit. So I've cut out the spot in the firewall, and when I'm adjusting it, I'm looking to match this hole on the clutch pedal with this rod right here. And as you can see, the whole travel is about there, so that's good, and I'm gonna start welding it in now. From there I just made a little patch piece to put in to hide the crack that was there, and then I welded it all back together. Then I quickly seam sealed and painted it. I did a lot of thinking about how I wanted to make the linkage, and I decided that on the end connecting to the master cylinder would be a nut with the threads drilled out of it to hold it to the threads on the master cylinder, then some steel rod cut to an angle. So this is my linkage put on the master cylinder and the clutch pedal. It works pretty well, but one thing is that it wants to slide this way, so I'm going to put a washer on this side. I'm going to weld it on, and then I'll just put a cotter pin hole on the other side and call that good. And also make my bushing there. The pedal feels very good now. It swings all the way. It's gonna engage hopefully where I want it to. The only thing that I'm not sure about is, because it does not have a spring, is that gonna be a problem or not? I have a pile of my Mustang stuff out on the side of the house. It's just laying in the grass, just sitting out in the air. It's stuff that's going to be garbage anyways, but it's just to keep it here just in case I need it for reference or something. As I recall correctly, the heater should be back there, but I looked around everything multiple times. I've checked all the bins and everything. I could find the smaller plastic part of my heater, but I couldn't find the huge part with the fan and the vents on it. I ended up having to buy another one, but I didn't want to put that much money into it, so I just bought another used one from the same year, I think. When I got it in the mail, everything looked intact. I tore it apart to look at it, and everything was there. And I tested the motor too. The motor works, so it's a great start. I just gotta clean it up. So I tore into it, started cleaning it up, getting rid of all the rust, and then priming it so that the rust wouldn't come back. Hey, it's all cleaned out and painted. Everything's painted that was rusting. So now I just gotta put it back together. And now that it's all clean, it's not gonna spray a whole bunch of dust when I start it for the first time. Then it was as simple as putting in the heater in the car, hooking up the hoses where they need to be, putting a few screws in where they need to be, plumbing up the heater hoses into the engine. Oh wait, that's not in this video yet, you can't see that. I put in the two ducts, the one that goes to the windshield and the one that goes to the floor. And then lastly, I cleaned up and I put in the floor air vents on the sides that pull air straight from the cowl. And with that all done, I'll have working heat in the Mustang once it's running. If you have made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. It may not look like it, but it does. I do really enjoy making these videos for you guys, and I love that I'm getting more and more support each video I make. I want to keep making these videos for you guys, but it does cost me a bit. So I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe, like, comment. Any form of engagement will help me out, and it'll keep these videos coming out to you guys. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. You're already helping so much by watching this video. Make sure you follow along for the next ones. I'll see you later. Bye.
Had to walk, but I figured it out fine.
Long strides, long strides, long strides. Every day's your time. You climb, you grow, you fall, get back up, ask for more. Got a long way to go, scenic route sound fine. Head hanging out the window every time you take a drive. Gonna soak up all this life like